bullfrogs in the class if you would like. If everyone wants to take grass frogs, that's okay as well. The grass frogs are a little bit smaller, a little bit easier to handle. The bullfrogs are more likely to have something big in their stomach, so it's up to you as to which one you want to choose. The first thing that we're going to do is remove the skin. And in order to remove the skin, you start with a sideways incision at the bottom of the abdomen. Then you're going to just cut away the skin up, all the way up. Is that excited or grossed out? Okay. All the way up to the bottom of the jaw. Extend the skin flaps out to the side. And then some of the tissue, sometimes there's a couple places where it attaches to the musculature underneath, so you might need to remove it that way. Okay. Now I'm only going to open one leg and the abdominal area because you can see everything that you need to see by doing that. Some people like to remove all of the skin, and if you want to do that, that's fine. Just keep in mind you only have one period in order to do this. I'm going to go ahead and remove all this skin.
It's so dead.
Mrs. McMurray,
Yes.
if we cut through more than the skin, what do we do then?
You're going to have to look at somebody else's properly dissected frog to see the musculature. When it comes time to doing one of the legs, you're just going to use that same incision. Cut down. The skin is pretty loose though, it's pretty easy to not make a mistake.
Frog legs. Yum.
And you want to cut all the way around the leg. And then
Oh.
You gotta want it.
sometimes it's easier to peel than to...
There
There we go.
Keep your eyes on it.
Alright.
It doesn't even look like gut. It just looks like a second
Oh,
skin.
we haven't gotten to the good part yet.
Excuse me,
Okay.
Zach. Everything about this dissection is good. That's all we can-
Now, the muscles that you need to identify, the ones that you want to find on your frogs, the first one is the sartorius muscle. The sartorius muscle is called the tailor's muscle because it goes from the outside of the hip to the inside of the knee on a human, and when you cross your leg like a tailor, that's why where they get the name sartorius for tailor, but it's center muscle right in here on the frog. And if you kind of, you can see that there's a muscle here, it's the center muscle. Anyone know where the gastroc is?
In the bottom leg.
Bottom of the leg, this is your calf, right? Here's the gastroc.
Gastrocnemius.
And the gastrocnemius, it's your calf muscle. Okay, it's the frog's calf muscle, right here. Okay. And the gastroc is held to the foot by the Achilles tendon. So there's the Achilles tendon if you're interested. Okay. Pectoralis muscles are right where you would expect them to be, right across the pectoralis region of the chest. So here's the pecs.
That's a six-pack.
Working out.
Do you guys remember at the beginning of the year where we talked about the hyoid bone? It was a bonus question. Where's the hyoid bone found?
Oh, I remember that.
In the throat. So it makes sense that the mylohyoid would be this, it's like this whole lower jaw area. This is the mylohyoid. Where are your external obliques? Out here, right? External obliques are these outside abs. You got to do twists in order to work those. Okay, right out here. So these are the external obliques. And rectus abdominis.
Right here.
That's the six-pack, right? Okay, so you can see the frogs, you can see the blood vessels between them, but your frog probably has an 8-pack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8-pack?
He's an 8-pack, man.
He's been working out.
Serious muscular frogs. Okay? So in detail, or in review real quick, sartorius, gastrocnemius, pectoralis, mylohyoid, external obliques, rectus abdominis. Then it's time to open up the frog. You're going to make a cut just like you did for the skin. Again, you want to keep your scissor tips pointing up because you don't want to cut through anything. There is a hard cut right through the pectoralis muscles because you have to cut through the cartilage there in the breastbone. And then you can continue up a little bit further. You're going to need to cut out on the sides again.
Flaps open.
And you're going to need to cut out up here as well.
Zach, here's the good part.
I'm looking forward to it.
Would somebody hand me some pins from back there? Oh, I forgot to.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Morgans.
Okay. You may need to cut away a little bit of the tissue in here. And it's easier if you really open the whole frog right up like this.
Ooh, it's a frog.
Hey, Christina, are you having fun yet?
And you need to get your pins in at very wide angles. You want your pins in at wide angles for a couple of reasons. Number one, so that they're not in your way. Number two, so the frog doesn't just ride up and down on the pins. And you want the frog to be kind of sturdy in there. Okay. All right, lungs are something that I forgot to put on your paper. And we're not going to do the lungs first, but you're going to want to find a place to write them probably at the bottom of the list. Just don't let me forget to do the lungs. Don't worry, I won't forget the lungs. The most obvious thing that you see when you open it up is the liver. It's this kind of greenish color part here. There are 3 lobes to the liver. Here's one lobe. Here's the second lobe. Here's the third lobe. And between the second and third lobe of the liver, you can find the gallbladder. Sometimes it looks like a little green balloon like mine does. Sometimes it's very flat and actually stuck to the side of the liver depending on how much bile was in there when the frog died. Okay? So the job of the liver is to produce bile, and the job of the gallbladder is to store the bile.
Bile with the B?
Yes, B-I-L-E. Okay? So the liver is going to produce bile, which is used for digestion. The gallbladder stores bile. The liver also detoxifies blood. So any toxins can be detoxified by the liver. Underneath the liver are the lungs. Okay. Can you see that okay, Courtney? Okay. Here's one lung on this side, one lung on this side. Okay? The lungs are for gathering oxygen. Okay. And the lungs actually have a lot of surface area to them. They're very stretchy and spongy. So when you pull them out, they're going to pull out a little bit farther than you might first anticipate. The heart is located kind of nestled in between the first and second lobes of the liver. The heart is made up of 2 atria, which are the collecting chambers. They're a little bit darker in color. And 1 ventricle, which is the pumping chamber. And it's a little bit lighter in color because it's very muscular. So the job of the heart, obviously, to pump blood. The 2 atria are collecting chambers. The ventricle is a pumping chamber.
Wait, what does the atria do?
Collects blood.
Okay, thank you.
Underneath the first lobe of the liver is the stomach. Here's the stomach. It's kind of J-shaped. Okay, it looks like there might be something in my stomach. And you can choose to open the stomach if you would like. If you don't want to open the stomach, you don't have to. If we follow the stomach around, we find the small intestine. This is small intestine right in here. The stomach digests food.
Did you really just ask that? I was joking.
That's what gives the frog its laser.
The stomach digests food. The small intestine is where nutrients are absorbed into the bloodstream. Continues the process of digestion as well. These yellow finger-like things are fat bodies. Okay, so it's a place to store energy, just like any fat. Holding the intestine in place is something called the mesentery. It's kind of this see-through tissue, but it holds the intestine in place. And embedded in the mesentery is the spleen, this kind of reddish thing. The spleen breaks down old red blood vessels. Okay, here's the spleen, or old red blood cells, excuse me. Here's the spleen.
Or
Very type area. Right underneath the stomach is this small tissue here. This one's kind of hard to find. This is the pancreas. Okay, and the pancreas produces insulin and glucagon in order to regulate blood sugar, but it lies right along the bottom of the stomach. So here's your pancreas.
Right there. Right there.
And then if we move the fat bodies out of the way, you see these large brown things in the back,
Pancreas is under the stomach.
and this is the kidney.
Oh, big one. You have to label the kidney.
The kidney is for
Where's the
Kidney.
filtering blood in order to take out poisons from the blood. And then I have at the end of the small intestine, you can see that there's something in my cloaca here. The cloaca is a common opening in order to get rid of solid waste and also where eggs are collected before they get sent out of the body as well. So to run through again quickly, we've got 3 lobes to the liver, 1, 2, 3. Between 2 and 3 is the gallbladder. Behind the liver are the lungs, 1, 2 lungs. Underneath the first lobe of the liver is the stomach. Underneath the stomach is the pancreas. The stomach leads to the small intestine, which is held in place by the mesentery. And amongst the mesentery is the spleen, the fat bodies. Behind all the fat bodies would be the kidney, and at the end of the small intestine is the cloaca.
That's a lot. So they killed all